Hello and welcome to the Red Hawk Sports Network. I'm Gianna DeGuinness alongside Charlie Badweenie, and we are here for an exciting homie and the celebration of Montclair State's Senior Day. Charlie, how you feeling?
Gianna, I'm feeling great.
It is.
Hello. Test. No.
And we're off. The swimmers are in the water.
No, it's not coming through. It is.
We are setting up for the women's 200-yard backstroke. We are occupying lanes 2, 3, 4, and 5.
I can't hear.
Lily Shea, Abby Brock, and Sydney McGann are competing for Montclair State. Please bear with us. We are having some technical difficulties on today's stream. Oh. I'm sorry. I believe this is the freestyle as we've switched up to the butterfly.
Test.
The freestyle relay. I'm sorry, I misspoke before. There is Sophia Shapovic, Julia Weinrab, Ava Mafucci, and Juliette DePasquale in lane 2. Kate Cipoletti, Abby Brock, Julie Tiedemann, and Juliana Scott Cordillo in lane 4. And Madeline Rogers, Sarah Bent, Gianna Antonelli, and Sydney McGann in lane 6. You can hear there's a packed house here today. A lot on the line for this meet. Montclair State fans sound like they're having a good time today.
Yeah, what a race that was, Gianna. I mean, all competitors really swimming as hard as they can on that one. I think that was some. I think I saw some butterfly strokes out there.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot. All right, we are reloading in the water. Looks like they're gonna do a cool down lap.
Yeah, always important to get the cool down lap going. You got to make sure you're not all tensed up, tightened up for your next race.
You could see the other Montclair State seniors on the sideline supporting their teammates. The men's team there waiting for their turn.
Yeah, Gianna, if I'm not mistaken, it is senior day here for the swim team, correct?
Absolutely. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about those that were honored earlier in our stream today?
Yeah, for sure. First up, Stephen Bernard, who is an honoree, 3-year member of the Red Hawks, and was honorable mention All-NJAC in the 800 freestyle relay during the 2019-2020 campaign.
Oh, and the men have hit the water now. Okay. It looks like they're lining up for their freestyle relay. They're going to go 400 yards. Montclair State has 2 lanes in this matchup, although all lanes are full. TCNJ is filling up the other 4 lanes. Montclair State has Stephen Bernard, Christian Mollison, Matthew Detlinger, and John Morris in lane 2, and Spencer Dubois, Anthony Ferraro, Daniel Barshevich, and John Englart in lane 4. Lane 2 getting started on their second competitor. TCNJ doing a great job hyping up the crowd and their team. Great turns around there by TCNJ and Montclair State in lanes 1 and 2.
Yeah, great breaststroke from all the competitors out in the water right now as they are going back and forth here in the pool.
Lane 6 getting involved. So far, lane 3 is in the lead.
One of the cool things about competitive swimming is it's not always just about competing against different schools and different your rivals and opponents. It's also about competing with yourself. You're always trying to fight for your best time, your personal records, personal bests. And even though if you don't pick up a win against for example, a Montclair State Redhawk doesn't exactly beat a TCNJ Lion, you're still fighting for your best personal time in the pools. So.
Absolutely, and all of that effort counts for something, because even though you don't win, you might get your PR, and that can help you qualify for a championship competition later on down the road, as well as when you're when you're racing in the same heat as your own school, you get to compete against your teammates too, and you use that motivation of being on the same side, but you want to be the best among your own group, and you really use that to get ahead. Viewers might notice the markings on the chests of TCNJ's men's team. We got to talk to a few of them beforehand, and Charlie, what did we learn?
Yeah, Gianna, we learned that it's a symbol for power. We're not entirely sure where that exactly derives from. We never really got an answer on that, but it's a symbol for power, and it appears to be giving TCNJ an extra, kick in the butt to pick up their speed, pick up their power.
Absolutely.
Help them swim faster.
Absolutely, and it really shows that team unity. They all got in together. I'm most curious about what the marking was made from, though, because it doesn't even look like it's smudging, and they've been in the pool for a few hours since before we even started. It looks like we're making our way back to the women's individual competition. And it looks like Montclair State occupies lanes 2 and 4. And TCNJ with the dark blue caps are in the other lanes.
Looks like there's okay, yeah, they're sticking the numbers in the water.
Yeah.
So make sure everyone knows where they're going. Gianna, you said this was the women's individual?
It is one of the independent races. I'm going to take a guess that since, each competitor has their teammate with the lap numbers in the water, that it's going to be one of those longer distance races. This could be the women's 500-yard or the 200-yard individual medley.
Yeah, could be. But it's always good to see the teamwork here, as each swimmer in the pool has one of their teammates from their team. Sticking the numbers in the water to make sure that they know where they're going, and there's no bumping or fraying the path. So. Some nice camaraderie here at Panzer Pool.
Absolutely, Charlie, and you can really see, everybody rallying for their team. TCNJ over in that far bleacher over there is on their feet. You could see Montclair State and TCNJ swimmers supporting their teammates in the water. You can see Coach McLaughlin from Montclair State, as long as assistant coaches Maria Vera and Alexandra Bonanno on the sidelines. You know, they aren't sitting. They're very engaged in the competition that is going on right now.
No, for sure. And I got to imagine, you know, I believe there's 3 coaches for the swimming and diving team for both men and women. So I'm sure each athlete on the team spends a lot of individual time, you know, working on their craft with all the coaches. So I'm sure the coaches are heavily invested in each and every race that's going to happen here today. And they're keeping an eye out for lack of a better term, their kids. You know, these are athletes that have been working with them for however long they've been in school. So coaches heavily invested in the performance of their athletes, for sure.
Absolutely, and that was a really nice way to put it. You know, this organization, this program really is like a family. They all recently just traveled to Florida for their spring training trip. And, you know, aside from what goes on in the pool and the amount of work and effort that these teams put into practicing and being their best, they also got to do a lot of team bonding activities. And I don't know if, you know, you're big on TikTok, but the Montclair State swimming and diving team has an account called the Wet Bunch, and they go viral quite a few times because, you know, Coach McLaughlin is just such an interesting person to be trained under. And, you know, if you guys at home haven't gotten the chance to check it out, I learned a lot about this team actually from watching their account, and that's where I did some of my prep the other day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, as you said, I'm sure they had a lot of bonding time and experience.
It wasn't working. I tried this. I could hear
the
the crowd louder, but not
down in
him.
Florida that was
So
back
I don't
wherever they
know.
stayed. I'm sure this team is swimming is very tightly knit, and everyone's really close together.
Absolutely. Lane 2, I believe they said, is in 3rd place. Lane 5 is in 4th, and lane 6 is in 5th. Lane 3 is in 2nd place. I believe that's TCNJ. You know, another thing I've observed from watching swim between last season and this season is I think the way that the fans cheer for swimming is so interesting because obviously you can't hear underwater, so they use a lot of hand signals. They'll wave their hand in like the direction that the swimmer is supposed to go. You know, they'll just say go. There's a lot of whistling, and so it's interesting that it's so different from what we see, you know, in the Panzer gym or on Sprague Field or even at Soccer Park.
Yeah, absolutely, a whole different vibe here in that competitive aspect. Just it really is like, you know, a different grounds, different territory. It's a whole nother animal here competing in a pool.
Lane 4 has taken the 1st place spot, while lane 3 is in 2nd. Plugged in there, I could hear me, and now I can't hear me or him.
Man, what a race.
Lane 2 is in 2nd place. Lane 4 is in 1st, coming ahead. I believe lane 4 is Julie Tiedman for Montclair State.
It's hard to believe this race has been going for almost 7 minutes now. It feels a lot faster than that. They're moving at a lot faster pace, I feel.
Imagine being underwater for that long.
Yeah, no, I could not, I'll be honest.
That's like in the movies, I think Tom Cruise had the record for holding his breath for the longest amount of time underwater, and then Cate Blanchett had it for Titanic, and then again for the new Avatar movie.
Yeah, no, I don't know how those actors do it. They dedicated to the craft for sure. but I don't know if they're as dedicated as these swimmers in the pool right now.
And it looks like we might be nearing the end of this race as the men's independent swimmers are making their way over to the starting point.
See Coach McLaughlin off to the side of the pool. He's, Gianna, as you said, those hand signals, very important.
He is a very engaged coach.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't gotten the chance, there was an episode of Talent Talk with him about a semester or two ago. And he got to talk a little bit about his experience coaching. A little bit more about Coach McLaughlin. He has coached over 30 seasons for Montclair State. He's got a 56% winning record. He started in 1989, and he was tasked with trying to turn around a once proud swimming and diving program that had fallen on some hard times. In his first 4 years, he led Montclair State to 44 combined victories, where the women's team had started out with not having won in 10 years, and the men's team was consistently collecting losing records, and Coach McLaughlin completely reinvented that reputation for this school.
Yeah, for sure. One of the, as you said, one of the longest tenured coaches, and easily one of the most successful, as you said, all of his accomplishments throughout his career here at Montclair State so far. And he really did achieve some greatness. I mean, turning this program around, making it, a respected, competitive program. I think he's done a great job, building a culture here, as you said, with the trips to Florida, the training, the bonding. That's all crafted by him, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he's done with this program here at MSU. Why don't we take this time to honor another senior here on Senior Day at the Panzer Pool, a Tyler Dorsett, 5-year member of the Red Hawks and a 7-time All-NJAC choice.
Charlie and I are going to take a quick break. We will hopefully be back shortly. Thank you guys for tuning in. Still keep up the stream to keep an eye on the events of today, and we will see you soon.
we're back here at the Panzer Pool. Technical difficulties out of the way for now, and we're starting up the next race.
Now, I believe this is the men's 1,000 meter freestyle.
And they're off. All 6 lanes appear to be at the same pace somewhat so far. Lane 2 getting off the wall real quick there. Quick bounce.
You know, it's really interesting to see how people, you know, preserve their energy and stamina in this type of event. You know, you said it, they were all really close, but there's going to be a little more growth in the distance between each competitor as time goes on and people start to tire out.
Yeah. For those watching at home, if you can't see that furthest line of flags at the end, from left to right, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lane-wise. I'm not sure what you guys at home are seeing right now. But right before we broke off for technical difficulties, I was talking about Tyler Dorsett, one of the seniors here today, being honored. As I was saying, he was a 5-year member of the Redhawks, 7-time All-NJAC swimmer, who was named NJAC Rookie of the Week in 2018 and 19, and he last gained NJAC Swimmer of the Week honors for and last season he also gained NJAC Swimmer of the Week. So another fantastic senior who will be missed here at Montclair State. And we're back to the race. Lane 2 currently in first place. Lane 4 behind in second. Lane 1 in third. Lane 3 in fourth. 5 in fifth. 6th in sixth.
In lane 2, we have Sean Nugent. In lane 4 for Montclair State, we have Ryan Kappas. And for lane 6, we have Stephen Bernard. To any TCNJ fans out there on this stream, we apologize. We have not received a lineup for your team.
Yep, and that's unfortunate because I would love to be able to shout out these swimmers.
Absolutely. TCNJ has proven to be some really suitable competition, not only this season, but definitely over the years. The history between these two schools, Montclair State has a 6-44-1 record versus TCNJ, and the men have a 32-1. The two teams met earlier this season, December 3rd and 4th, for the TCNJ Diving Invitational. And their last match against each other was October 16th, 2021 in Ewing. It was the season opening meet. The women lost to TCNJ 178-103, and the men lost 168-99. Here so far, our score is Montclair State 27 and TCNJ 9, but I believe that is just for the men's competition as of right now, unless they are totaling, but I'm not entirely sure. TCNJ, their team, the Lions on the sideline, really hyping up their friends in the pool.
Yeah, they're all types of lined up over there, watching intently as their teammates compete.
Absolutely. Still pretty even pacing at this part in the race. I would say lanes 1, 3, 4, and 5 are, you know, they all made that turnaround at the same time.
You know, Gianna, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid swimming in the pool, I preferred the thicker banded goggles.
Okay.
I thought like the ones they're wearing, the skinny ones with like just like the plastic eye covers, those were so uncomfortable.
Oh, you were one of like the half face shield kind of kids?
That was my kind of goggle.
Did you not know how to breathe underwater?
It took me a little longer than some other people, but I got there eventually. And you know, as I grew as a swimmer, I didn't like the band on my face. I like just the bigger ones made me feel more comfortable. So.
Okay.
But props to these swimmers for being able to compete in whatever they really want to. I mean, I can imagine if they even were wearing full clothes like jeans or a shirt, I'm sure they could swim just fine and way better than me. So
absolutely, that should be a challenge. That should be an event, is racing in jeans. But I think it would be really interesting for us to learn about the types of choices, the thought process that goes into picking goggles, picking your hair cap.
Yeah.
I was really interested in their windbreaker type quarter zip that they were wearing. I thought those were really cool.
Yeah. No, I'd love to get my hands on something like that. That looks very comfortable. And it looks like something you can wear in the pool here that's, quite hot. I mean, I'm sweating a little bit right now.
Yeah.
But they seem to be, pretty temperature controlled in those quarter zips and spandex, so.
Swim meets are so interesting. I don't know, my high school, our swim team, we didn't have a pool at school, so it was always like an outside sort of thing, so I never really got to experience this environment until I got to college. But it's really interesting just how involved everyone here is. Everybody cheering for everybody. It's a very fast-paced kind of thing. There's not a lot of time in between each event.
Yeah.
And it's just, everybody's just trying to keep their focus, trying to get in the game. I don't know if you guys saw when both teams had entered earlier, but they were just really locked in and in their zone.
Yeah, I think another cool aspect of this is that no one's really rooting against anybody here. I think everyone's just really trying to do their personal best. No one's wishing ill upon anyone, whereas in like a different sport, you're heckling the other team. No one's heckling here. It's all just about rooting for your homies and making sure everyone does their best they possibly can.
Absolutely. I really like the way you said that. Like, everybody's rooting for, nobody's rooting against. It's nothing against the people in the other lanes, but of course, like, you want to do your best.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you had said before, it's really interesting that we've hit the 7-minute mark. These people have been in the water for 7 minutes, and they really don't come up in long increments for air. It's just that very quick head turn and maybe on their turnaround.
Yep. A lot of stamina and endurance built up, I'm sure, in those training sessions. Lots of minutes on the treadmill.
Absolutely. Swimming and diving, our swimming and diving teams here, they get up super early for their lifts and their gym sessions. They're like up at 6:30. I don't know about you, Charlie, but I'm still asleep at that time.
I'm still asleep past that time and then some. So props to them for having that willpower and the love for the game.
I believe lane 4 is nearing their end of the race, because I saw the red square on the board that Brandon Doe was holding earlier, but I could be wrong. Can't really see from this angle. Lanes 2 and 3 neck and neck right now. They both made that reverse at the same time. They're basically stride and stride right now.
Yeah, I'm really curious as to exactly how many laps they're supposed to be doing. I know this is a regulation-sized pool, but I'm not exactly sure which way, how long that distance is. Because as we know, it can be anywhere from 100 yards to 1,000 yards. So.
Again, lane 4 seems to really be in the lead here. Lane 6 not too far behind. Those are both Montclair State lanes. Lane 5 with TCNJ, and then lanes 3 and 4 being Montclair State and TCNJ respectively have been so close this entire time. I believe that is the last lap for lane 4, with the official ringing that bell.
Yeah, so Gianna, it seems that all these gentlemen in all the corners of the pool in the white polos, not named Coach McLaughlin, are all the officials for this event, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you guys can see that at home, but they are watching intently, and they got little clipboards and whatnot.
I believe lanes 3, 2, and 1 have entered their last lap. Lanes 2 and 3 neck and neck again. Lane 1 powering forward. I believe the placement is lane 4 is in first place. Lane 5 is in second. Lane 2 is in third. Lane 3 is in fourth. And lane 1 was in fifth.
Yeah, lane 4 got there real early when everybody else had already, made the push off the wall. Lane 4 was already done, so he got that one done really fast. Still not entirely sure who that is. I'm sorry, I apologize to that swimmer.
I believe lane 4 was Ryan Kappas, and look at how close lanes 2 and 3 were. Lane 2 was Sean Nugent for Montclair State, and they were literally like a tenth of a second apart from each other, finishing at 10:20, and then Sean Nugent finishing at 2:20.65. with the TCNJ swimmer finishing at 10:20.75.
Yeah, that is truly incredible. I mean, just that short of a time difference. I mean, what are the odds on that?
That's what's also so fascinating about, sports like this and track and any sort of race is that, it's yes, these things rely on point values. However, like, your timing is the deciding factor, and it's not going to be, a 3-point basket difference. It could be a fraction of a second that separates you between third and fourth place.
Yeah, quite literally. Good to see that Rocky the Red Hawk made his appearance here. As the next race is underway.
Definitely, he's ready to jump in.
Yeah, he's got his swim trunks on.
At any moment. I believe this is the women's 200-meter free. In lane 2, we have Kate Cipoletti for Montclair State. There are 2 Julies on this team, so this could be Tiedman or Weinreb. And in lane 6, that would be Juliana Scott-Cardillo. And that's just the MSU roster, with TCNJ filling in 3 and 5. This is a bit of a quicker event because you can see the men already lining up for theirs. This really is a packed house, Charlie. You can see there's a line out the door now.
Yeah, it seems that, they ran out of seats down here at the Panzer Pool. Everyone's fighting for a seat.
We have a couple visitors in our booth.
Yes, we do, our quote-unquote booth.
But it's really awesome to see everybody showing up and showing out to support Montclair State. This is, I believe, their last weekend meet of the season. And I believe they might only have 2 home meets left, including this one. So it's nice to have that home field environment. Lane 4 finished in first place. That would be Julie for Montclair State. Lane 2 in second place. That would be Kate Cipoletti. Lane 3 in third place. That would be TCNJ. Lane 5 in 5th place, and lane 6 in 4th place, which would be Juliana Scott-Cardillo for the Red Hawks. The women are going to take a little bit of a cool down lap as the men are starting to psych themselves up for their next event.
Yeah, and as we watch this cool down here, I'd like to name our next senior being honored today at Senior Day. Belle Meade's own Christian Molesian. I'm sorry for mispronouncing that. I apologize, but he's been a two-time All-NJAC selection, earning second-team accolades in the 2020-21 season in both the 200 medley and 400 medley relay teams. He was also named to the NJAC All-Academic Team in 2021. Thank you for all your dedication, Christian.
Absolutely. Not only is this a really special day for the seniors on the team, but for the underclassmen as well, because they started out and these people were already here. They've gotten to grow and learn under them, and form those bonds. We were talking about the connection that these teams have with one another before. And you had already spoken about how it's such a positive environment to be a part of. And so it would be really awesome if Montclair State was able to take home the win today. So far, our scoreboard reads 42-13 with Montclair State leading.
TCNJ is as amped up as ever, cheering on their fellow swimmers. Montclair State not as involved as their fans, cheering on the current swimmers. And here we are. Lane 3 seems to be in the lead so far at this event. Appears to be a TCNJ swimmer.
In lane 2, we have Ryan Kappas, who had won that last men's race in the 1,000 meter freestyle. Lane 4 is Anthony Ferraro, and lane 6 is John Morris, all from Montclair State.
An impressive showing. Lane 3 in first place at 1:46. Lane 5 in second at 1:50. And lane 4 in third at 1:50 as well. So another impressive showing in this particular event from all the swimmers involved. And swimmers are going to take their cool down lap.
I believe we are moving on to the 100-meter breaststroke next. As you can see, that's another short race, so both the men and women are lined up already.
Yeah, 100 meters, I think that's only maybe 2 or 3 laps in the pool. I've been trying to keep track of how many laps it takes for each event.
This will be the one where we figure out how far the distance of the pool is. We were talking before about how to figure out who is who, and the names are on the swim cap, but because their heads are moving side to side, you can't really see it.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
I wish there was some form of jersey in the sport that we could define it with.
I mean, if they can draw that power symbol on their chest, I mean, I don't know why they can't
put their name and number on their back.
Number on the back. I mean, that seems like the best possible solution in identifying the swimmers.
It seems like a really good quality marker too.
Yeah, so. It's not coming off.
And 100-meter backstroke is underway. Erin Barrett is in lane 2 for Montclair State. Sofia Shapovic is in lane 4, and Jules Weinrab is in lane 6. All the lanes are full in this race.
I was excited to see the backstroke, Gianna. All swimmers, this is the only race where they don't have their faces, down in the water for most of it. This is the only one where they're facing up.
Absolutely, and this is one where, stamina isn't, the defining factor here. You've got to have speed. Looks like lane 4 is leading, and I believe that is Montclair State.
It sure is.
Sophia Shapovic in the lead, lane 3. TCNJ close behind her. Lane 2 starting to come up. And Sophia Shapovic placing first. Erin Barrett placing second. TCNJ placing third.
All right, Gianna, if my math is not mistaken, I believe the pool is 25 yards in length. So that would mean it's 4 laps for 100 yards? Because that's what that was, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure we got our calculations right over here.
And so currently, I believe our score for the women's meet is 37-18. TCNJ is in the lead.
Yeah, well, TCNJ, as we talked about earlier in the broadcast, historically dominant over in the women's department over the swimming. So it was always going to be tough swimming,
absolutely,
to say the least. But it is what it is, and I'm sure, as we talked about, everyone's not as focused on the competition aspect, but on the personal battle of breaking your best time.
Absolutely. For the men, for Montclair State, lane 2 is Daniel Barsevich. Lane 4 is Dennis DeLargy, and lane 6 is Christian Mollison. Lane 3 for TCNJ is in the lead right now with lane 4 with DeLargy at a close second. Lane 5 looks like they're catching up to DeLargy. And Charlie, did you see how long the guys were underwater for when they made their turnaround?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important parts of the race is when your push off the wall gives you the initial momentum to make that push to get to the other end.
Yeah, it's all that power of the legs.
Yeah.
And I believe lane 3, TCNJ placing first. Lane 5, also TCNJ placing second. Lane 1, TCNJ placing third. Clean sweep in the top 3 placements for TCNJ there.
And once again, apologies to those swimmers because they absolutely deserve to have their names shouted out, but just not available for us at the moment, unfortunately. Trying to figure out who's who is a bit difficult. But we'll take this cool down to honor our next senior, Marlton, New Jersey's own Gianna Antonelli, a member of the NJAC All-Academic Team in 2022. She took second in the 500 freestyle in 5 minutes and 58 seconds against William Patterson and Ramapo in 2020-21 season. Last season at METS, she tallied an 18th place time in the 200 fly, finishing in 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Congratulations, Gianna.
And fun fact, Gianna Antonelli is the older sister of Montclair State field hockey's Alexa Antonelli.
Wow. Yeah. So Montclair State, just a family-oriented athletics program.
Oh, absolutely.
Got ties in multiple sports.
So I believe first place in that race was Andrew Kidchop from Rutherford, New Jersey, a freshman swimming for TCNJ. Congratulations to him.
Always cool to see a freshman beating out the upperclassmen.
Absolutely. So here we have the 100-meter breaststroke for the Montclair State and TCNJ women's swimming teams.
So, Gianna, when you're an official for an event like this, Is there any way that you can, like, is there like penalties, like violations or something like that?
That's a good question. I feel like, we were talking the whole time we were here that this is like a really positive environment and a clean sport, so I don't think we'd see it between any of these two teams. But I mean, I'm sure they've had instances in the past where, I don't know, maybe there was a
false start or something?
False start, I mean, I can't really think of swimming violations off the top of my head. I was reading the rules before, and it's like the blocks they use, they can't be more than like 10 degrees.
Okay. All right.
So they probably have to just, regulate.
Yeah.
They're there to regulate. Lane 4 in the lead right now. Abby Brock from Montclair State placing 4th. Sarah Bent from Montclair State in lane 2 placing 2nd. Lane 5 for TCNJ placing 3rd.
Impressive showing for everybody involved here.
I believe Abby Brock was in lane 4. She placed 1st. Her time for the 200-yard breaststroke was 2:34, and she finished this in 1:09. But I think this might have only been the 100 meter. So I don't have her time for the first, but I was trying to look for, something to compare it to.
Yeah. We're off to the next event just like that. Wow.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was the first event we've seen of them, jumping off those, what looked like pool chairs.
Yeah, it's like not a diving board, but a nice little step off.
An in-between, for sure. But yeah, that gave him a nice little boost.
And this is the men's 100 meter breaststroke. This has Brandon Doe from Montclair State in lane 2, Spencer Dubois from Montclair State in lane 4, and Matt Detlinger from Montclair State in lane 6. Spencer Dubois in the lead currently. TCNJ at a close 2nd, and Montclair State at a very close 3rd with Brandon Doe.
Some of these swimmers getting real close to the lines. I gotta imagine it's hard to see when you're trying to swim as fast as you can how close you're getting to the sides, but doing a good job of staying in the lane.
Absolutely. Dubois placing 1st, TCNJ placing 2nd, and Doe placing 3rd. Dubois' 200-yard breaststroke is a 2:10. So the fact that he was able to more than half that for this race, it means he's already on a good track to possibly beat his seed time for the 200-yard event. Yeah, at first I thought that the pool was the distance was measured in meters, but all of these say yard, and so.
Yeah, metric system and whatnot. It could some people could be measuring it in meters, some people do it in feet, yards, you name it. We're just doing our best out here. And you know what? We'll take this time to shout out our next senior, Cinnaminson, New Jersey's own Aaron Barrett.
That's a fun town.
Cinnaminson. Yeah, I'll be honest, I have not heard of that. But she was named 2nd team All-NJAC in the 100-yard backstroke in 2021, while also claiming honorable mention in the 400 freestyle relay in the 2021 and 100 back in the 21-22 season. So congratulations, Eric, on your distinguished career as a Montclair State swimmer.
Montclair State leading in lane 4. This is the women's 200-meter fly. Montclair State has Maddie Rogers in lane 2, Katie Geyer in lane 4, and Sydney McGann in lane 6.
Lane 4 currently rocking in first place.
No way. Charlie and I just put our brains together for the first time.
And figured out that we had two of the same.
No, we don't. That's what...
It's the continued version, excuse me, of this list of events.
So, Charlie, if you'd like to give us a glimpse, lane 4, Katie Geyer finishing in first with a time of 2:20.79. What was her seed time for?
Her seed time was, I believe, 2:16.83.
Oh, she was so close.
So darn close to breaking that PB, but yeah.
And I believe the women are still leading Montclair State with 70 points to TCNJ's 23.
Wow, good for them. Coming back. Weren't they down in the beginning there for a little bit?
We were down. But we're back.
Yep, here we are. As the women take their cool down lap. We're gonna bring it over to our next distinguished senior, Emma Bowers from Secaucus, New Jersey. A two-time NJAC Diver of the Week. She placed 4th at the TCNJ Invitational and set a PR with 264.75 in the 3-meter dive at the event. She also notched a career best score of 273.9 in the 1-meter dive and finished 9th at Mets last season in the 3-meter dive. Congratulations, Emma, on your distinguished career with the Montclair State Redhawks.
The men are going to take off now in the 200-meter fly in lane 2. We have John Egler. Lane 4, we have Tyler Dorsett, who Charlie had mentioned earlier when honoring his career, and Jared Gaynor in lane 6. The men's score is currently 86 for Montclair State, 26 for TCNJ. Which the day isn't over yet, but it would be huge for Montclair State to really just end this drought, of games against TCNJ. The men have only beat TCNJ once, but it was under the coaching guidance of Brian McLaughlin for that first time ever, and so we could see history be made again today.
Yeah, for sure. And if any coach can lead their team to it, it's Coach McLaughlin for the Redhawks. As the men are coming back on their next lap here. Times on the board being updated.
Looks like lane 4 is in the lead, but 3 and 5 are right on his tail. I believe Tyler Dorsett, placing second. TCNJ solidifying the first and third spots. Although this race is still going.
Yeah, I believe this one's going to be the last stretch here. Tyler Dorsett pushing, racing against the clock of his own personal best.
I just got chills from this crowd.
Yeah, they're amped
Dorsett gets first place with a final time of 1:58.97.
Gianna, he missed by 0.2 of a second his personal best. So close. His seed time, 1:58.74. Just a little bit off.
And Englert finished in 2:01.13, and Gaynor finished in 2:12.66.
So Gaynor, unfortunately, not close to his PB, but Englert getting his personal best, beating it by a second in the men's 200-yard butterfly event. Congratulations to John A. Englert on his achievement.
With the whole government name there, that's how you know it's
for sure. Up next, we got the women's 50-yard freestyle. Once again, no TCNJ names, unfortunately, if there's any TCNJ fans tuning in, but in lane 2, it'll be Juliana Scop-Cardillo. In lane 4, it'll be Rourke Peralta. And in lane 6, Ava Mafucci. So we'll get underway here with 3, as I just got splashed by a cap. Wonderful. Here we are.
It's like SeaWorld.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, and we don't mean that as in, swimmers being...
No.
I mean, they are entertainment,
but
they're not like animals, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I'm trying to say.
No, but it's like fun.
Yeah,
it's a fun way to spend the weekend.
For sure. Bring the kids. As we're off here, as
TCNJ in lane 3 just powering ahead, but Montclair State's in lane 2 and 4 are really close behind. The 50-yard races are so exciting because it's all about speed and anything can happen.
Yep.
TCNJ lane 3 finishing first place with a time of 24:51. Montclair State, Rourke Peralta in lane 4 finishing with 24:52.
We have a personal best for Juliana Scop-Cardillo. She breaks her personal best. It used to be 26:19. Now it is 26:15. Congratulations on your new time, Juliana.
I think I have a new favorite event. I think the 50-yard races have got to be my favorite. The way everybody just jumped to their feet.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about throughout this event today that it's not so much about beating the person next to you, but beating your own time. And even if you don't place in the top 3, to end with a new PR is really awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Rourke Peralta as well for breaking her personal best. Oh, excuse me. Never mind. No, never mind. I just can't read. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Congratulations, Rourke Peralta, for breaking her personal best by half a second. Her personal best was 24:95. It is now 24:52. Congratulations to Rourke.
The men are going to take on the 50-yard freestyle now.
Yep. In lane 2, we got Adrian Gonzalez. Lane 4, Dennis R. Delargy. And in lane 6, Lucas Miglin.
Lane 3, TCNJ in the lead.
Really fast race there. Came to an end super quick. Adrian Gonzalez not actually getting his personal best. His best time previous to this was 23:80. He's now sitting at 23:52. Dennis Delargy, he also got his new personal best, was at 22:88, now at 22:69. And Lucas Miglin, unfortunately not his best performance there, but I'm sure he's going to figure out what went wrong there and get better for next time. And that was, Gianna, both the 50-yard freestyles. As you said, two of the most exciting races we've seen so far today. Just the fast pace swimming both TCNJ and Montclair State put on. You really saw the excitement as the Panzer crowd claps for the swimmers coming out of the pool.
And now we have another lineup before our diving break, and this is the 50 free HT2.
I believe it's the women's 100-yard freestyle.
Those are men.
Oh, well, excuse me. Here we go.
95-36, the women's score.
No, I believe they what is it?
It's
For
the
every
men's
event,
score.
So that should be the men's score right now.
They're up 95-36.
Yes.
And the women are leading.
And here we
The
are
women, it said like 66 to something, but it's still
in
home
the,
away.
I'm going to say the men's 100-yard freestyle, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, I think that was just another go-around.
I believe this might be another 50-yard free, but this might be all exhibition, I think.
Yes, I think you're right, because it's saying here heat 2 of 2. I think John Morris was the only Montclair State swimmer out there in lane 4. Every other swimmer was a TCNJ kind of guy.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, so
Potentially they had just a lot of competitors in
Yeah.
that event, so they needed to divide it into 2 races and just
yeah, so here we
compare
are.
the times.
Yeah, moving on to now we're on the women's 100-yard freestyle, I think.
I believe we're taking a diving break, so this is going to give the swimmers a chance to regroup, and then the divers get to focus on their events for right now.
Okay.
And while they are breaking down and setting up, Charlie and I are going to take a quick break, but we will see you shortly. In men's and women's swimming and diving. Charlie, what events do we have coming up?
Well, we just witnessed the women's 100-yard freestyle, and here we are coming up on the men's 100-yard freestyle. Still don't have any TCNJ names for the folks at home, unfortunately, but we do have the Montclair roster. In lane 2, we have Tyler Dorsett. In lane 4, Anthony Ferraro, and in lane 6, Daniel Bartzovic. So those 3 Montclair State swimmers going for their best as we get underway here with the second half of events. After that quick break for diving, but here we are, men's 100-yard freestyle.
If the view on the broadcast was a little bit skewed, but you did happen to catch some of the diving, it was a pretty impressive display of athleticism from both schools. Both the Lions and the Red Hawks seem to have been faring very well in their diving contests.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, it was really, I'll be honest, I've never attended a swim meet before today, and it was really interesting to see the focus of everybody here in the pool room. It was, you know, you could hear a pin drop as the divers were getting prepared to jump into the air and fling their bodies around. So that was really impressive, really cool stuff. And I have a lot of respect for the swimmers that are competing in this event here.
Absolutely. It's a huge mental game, and just, you know, seeing how fearless these athletes are, it was really awesome to watch. And again, like the community that exists within the swimming world of competition, I would say, you know, the parents from all the schools, the coaches from all the schools, and then just seeing how good of sportsmanship that athletes demonstrate.
And the family support, as right in front of us, a TCNJ swimmer giving his family a hug. Great to see, of course. But for Montclair State, we have some PBs, it appears. Anthony Ferraro just did 0.06 seconds better than his PB.
Wow. As
he got 51 flat.
Congratulations.
Good for him. And that's about it. Tyler Dorsett has NT under his seed time. He finished with a 51.70. But here we are into the women's 200-yard backstroke, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, here we are. In lane 2, we have Erin Barrett. In lane 4, Sophia Shapovic, excuse me. And in lane 6, Juliette DePascal. So the backstroke here, 200 yards, so it's a race of endurance and speed at the same time.
Absolutely, and you know, it's a whole different set of muscles when you're going backwards as opposed to forwards. And so, you know, this sport really is incredible because you get to see the utility that each person possesses and brings to the water.
Yeah, for sure. It appears lane 4 is currently in first place. That is Sophia.
And we actually got the chance to talk to her dad outside during the break. And, you know, it must be really nice for all the parents that get to come here and support. And there's a huge TCNJ presence as well, which isn't really common for schools that have a bit of distance, but swim is really important to the TCNJ program, and they have fared to be really successful over the past few years. They have an incredible coaching staff as well. David Dow is the head men's swimming and diving coach. It's his 5th year in the program. They have a huge roster among their team. They were the 2022 Metropolitan. He was the Metropolitan Conference Coach of the Year in 2021. He was NJAC Coach of the Year as well as the 2018 and 2019 campaign. As for women, Jennifer Harnett is the head coach of the women's program. It's her 22nd season, and she's actually a TCNJ alumna as well. And she has a BA in communications.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And especially cool that she swam for TCNJ and now also is helping bring up that next breed of athletes.
Absolutely.
As we get to the end here. Lane 3 in first place, a TCNJ swimmer. Congratulations to them. But in second place, we have Sofia Shapovic, and she got her personal, no, she did not. Erin Barrett, however, in lane 2 was able to break her best time by about 0.20 seconds. So very impressive. Congratulations to you, Erin.
That's a pretty big difference, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Juliette DePascal did not have a time listed, but appears to be one of her personal best races as well. We'll use this cool down period to shout out our next senior here at Senior Day. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Senior Day here at the Panzer Pool. We have, who I just talked about, Juliette DePascal, who is an honorable mention All-NJAC choice in the 200 medley relay and 400 medley last season. She picked up a victory in the 200 medley relay against Drew and Moravian last year, and she was tabbed to the NJAC All-Academic Team in 2022 and was named to the Dean's List during the 2021 Division III week. Congratulations, Juliette, on a distinguished career here at Montclair State University.
Shouting out Juliette for her academics as well as her athleticism. The Montclair State swimming and diving program is known to have some of the highest GPAs out of all of Montclair State's athletic department. The women's team has been the highest 3 times, and the men have claimed 5 honors in the past 10 years. And so it's really impressive, and you got to really admire the coaching staff for not only promoting hard work within their sport, but as well as in your schooling as well.
Yeah, of course, always an emphasis on performance in the pool and in the classroom. So congratulations to the swimming team. So here we are in the men's 200-yard backstroke.
We've got Stephen Bernard in lane 2, Dennis DeLargy in lane 4, and Christian Maleeson in lane 6. Looks like we have a full pool for this one, filling up lanes 1 through 6. Lane 3 in the lead for TCNJ. They're already on their next lap, as everybody else seems to be rounding the turnaround.
Lane 3, pretty far ahead, it seems. Almost like half a pool's length, it seems, above every other swimmer. That boy fast.
Yeah. Absolutely. What a nice distance he has there. He finished in 28:45. Lane 5 at a close second. Lane 4, that would be DeLargy. His personal best is 2:02.61, which he beat today.
Congratulations to him. Unfortunately for the men's swimming team, they're currently losing in the scoreboard department, but the women's, though, on the other hand, up comfortably, 119-69. I'm not sure if you can see that scoreboard on the camera feed, but that is currently the women's score. And I think we'll get the men's here in just a second as they tally up those numbers on this cool-down lap.
The women are now setting up for their 200-yard breaststroke, where Erin Barrett, Lily Shea, Abby Brock, and Sydney McGann will be taking their places for Montclair State. this is one of those fun ones where they get to take
The jump.
the jump into the pool.
Yeah, definitely gives them a bit a bigger burst of speed at the beginning, being able to, shoot yourself off the edge of the pool.
Because as you can see, like, this is a lot shorter of a stroke with the arms here, so they really do rely on that extra push
For sure.
in the legs and that jump start. Looks like lane 3 might be leading, but lane 4 might be leading, but lanes 3 and 5 are really close behind. I believe the men's score is 113 to 53 with the TCNJ Lions in the lead. Not sure if you could see, but TCNJ supporting their teammates from the far end of the pool. Montclair State's lane 4 now in the lead. And again, lane 3 really close behind, with lane 2 not too far behind that. Lane 4 is so far leading. That would be Abby Brock with a time of 1:18, and her seed time is 2:34.50 for this event. Sydney McCann in lane 6 picking up the speed as we get a little bit later in the race.
Gianna, this seems to be another one of those endurance races where it's really about that built-up stamina.
Absolutely.
Compared to, overall speed.
Montclair State and TCNJ looking like they were neck and neck for a bit, but lane 4 able to pull ahead. Abby Brock finishing in first with a time of 2:35.20, which is just a second and a fraction slower than her seed time. But still, great display of athleticism from these athletes. Third, lane 3 finishing in second, lane 6 with Sydney McGann finishing in third with a time of 2:41.03, which beat her seed time comfortably.
Congratulations to Sydney.
The men are lining up now for their 200 breaststroke.
Here we are at the start of the men's 200-yard breaststroke. Brandon Doe in lane 2, Spencer Dubois in lane 4, and Matthew Dettinger in lane 6.
I thought that was really impressive right off the bat. All of these swimmers had made it either half the pool length or more before finally breaking that surface. The lung capacity on these swimmers.
Yeah, I'm sure they all have their fair share of air training in order to stay underwater for as long as possible. Because I gotta imagine coming up for air is one of the biggest things that slow you down in competitive swimming.
Lane 4 in the lead with lane 2 at a close second. Looks like both are Montclair State lanes. Dubois and Doe have both been key components of the Montclair State men's swim team for a few years now.
Some Montclair State teammates on this end of the pool cheering on their fellow swimmers who are currently competing. You saw TCNJ up here earlier, now Montclair taking their turn with the camaraderie.
Absolutely. Look at the lead in lane 4.
Yeah, Spencer Dubois comfortably in first place here in the 200-yard breaststroke.
And Brandon Doe making his turnaround and already almost catching up to Dubois. Dubois finishing with 2:09.61, which beats his seed time, allowing Montclair State to collect a couple improvement points for this event. Doe a little bit behind his seed time, as well as Denninger.
We'll take this cool-down period to shout out our last senior of the afternoon, Jackie Grayson, native of Ridgewood, New Jersey. She notched a top 15 time in the 100 breaststroke at METS last season as she clocked in at 2 minutes 34 seconds and was part of a first place 200 medley relay team against Keene last year. Against William Patterson in 2020, she won the 1,000 meter freestyle, finishing 12:02 before placing second in her collegiate debut in the 100 breaststroke in 1:17. Jackie, congratulations, and a big congratulations to all of the seniors from Montclair State competing here today. Thank you for all your time, effort, and energy put into this program, and you will not be forgotten.
Absolutely.
Here we are heading into the women's 500-yard freestyle. Should be this is another really big endurance one, 500 yards, a long one for the women ready lining up competing.
In lane 2, we have Kate Cipoletti. In lane 4, Julie Tiedemann. And lane 6, Erin Barrett. You know, like you said, Charlie, this is one of those longer events where they have the teammate holding the lap counter.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just gives the swimmers one less thing to worry about, you know, not having to count, worry about how much you have left.
Yeah.
You know, just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm sure that's got to be helpful because in your mind when you're competing in this event, you're not keeping track of how many laps you have to go. You're just focusing on your form, focusing on what you got to be doing to keep it, you know, swimmingly, and
just keep swimming.
Yeah, just keep swimming indeed, Gianna.
And again, we've seen a lot in these stamina races that a lot of the athletes are just neck and neck. There really isn't a huge gap in between them. But as it goes on, we're really going to see whose endurance is built up, because that's when the gaps start to form.
Lanes 1 through 4 seem to be all on a similar pace. Lanes 5 and 6 lagging behind us a little bit, but as we talked about, it's not always about, you know, placing in a race. It's about beating your personal best time.
Absolutely.
But lanes 3 and 4 seem to be pulling away a little bit, keeping the pace with each other. Lane 2 also keeping that pace.
Absolutely. It looked like for the past 2 laps, they were able to do their turnaround at the same time, which is a really good strategy, is just try to match the person next to you to help yourself with pacing so you don't fall behind. And for those of you that might not be familiar with all of the rules of swimming and how lane placement actually happens, is that the seed time that they're entering the event with, for example, Kate Cipoletti is starting out with a seed time for the 500-yard freestyle with a time of 5:26.65, which is one of the lower times, so she got to be put towards the middle lanes. And middle lanes offer the swimmers an advantage because the water isn't reverberating off the walls and back at them. They have a little bit more cushion, and they also have a really nice spot to be able to scout out and monitor their opponents so that they're aware with the pace of the race.
That's really interesting, Gianna. I was not aware of that, but that does make a lot of sense.
Now it looks like lanes 2 and 4 for Montclair State are pretty neck and neck. Lane 3 starting to form a bit of a gap between them.
As you mentioned, it's a long race of stamina and endurance, and just a minute ago we were talking about how lanes 2, 3, and 4 were kind of pulling ahead, but lanes 5 and 6 picked up the pace, and it seems that they're either both in a comfortable lead or decently far behind. It's a little tough to tell at some points. It's such a long race.
It seemed like they were, starting out with stamina, but now they're going to start to pick up the speed with the less and less laps they have left, whereas the others had a really strong start, and we might start to see the fatigue set in and then start to slow down.
Maybe that's the strategy, save yourself up for those last couple laps, because that's when you're going to need it most, and then maybe the other competitors.
Looks like Julie Tiedemann is on her last lap, the official ringing the bell at lane 4. And she's going to finish with a time of 5:23.12, beating her seed time. Kate Cipoletti finishing in 5:29. And Erin Barrett in lane 6, still on the go. Looks like she is leading to lane 5 right now. And Barrett is going to finish with a time of 6:02.98, which is not near her seed time. But again, it's one of those you're your own competition, and the crowd here really pumped for the next event.
Yeah, we go from the women's 500-yard freestyle to the men's 500-yard freestyle, so going to be similar style of race where it's about that endurance and stamina. We'll see what the men have cooking for us, as we're going to see Sean Nugent in lane 2, Ryan Capps in lane 4, and Lucas Miglin in lane 6, along with 3 other TCNJ swimmers, of course.
Lucas Miglin is a bit of a younger addition to this arrangement. He is the only freshman, as far as Montclair State competitors go, in this event.
Wow.
Miglin went to the same high school and competed on the same club team as fellow Red Hawk John Morris, who we've seen in some events earlier today, from Ranacoste Valley Regional High School and competing for MLY Phoenix Swim Club. The TCNJ bench really bringing the energy to this. Just when you thought, people might start to get tired, things are getting slow, they're all up on their feet, cheering on.
Yeah, you would think.
Their fellow Lions. It's because of all that power.
For sure. And, honestly, John, kind of watching it makes me a little nervous. I feel like one of them's going to slip into the pool.
They're so on edge and so involved. I sometimes feel that way about Coach McLaughlin because he's always just very much in it, very much involved.
And besides the pool, it's soaking wet. You know what I mean? It's like slippery surface. But I gotta imagine all these guys and gals have been around swimming pools their entire lives. So
they're seasoned veterans.
Exactly. They all know exactly what they're doing and what it feels to be standing on a slippery surface like a pool area tile.
I mean, for us, it's a little new. This is the first time we've been seated in the splash zone.
Yep.
But it really helps you feel involved in the race. I feel like I'm part of it. It's like a 4D movie.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, Gianna. I'm feeling the exact same way right now.
The water just coming right at you makes it a very immersive experience.
Like you said earlier, SeaWorld.
Yeah.
2 minutes underway here in the 500-yard freestyle.
And we're starting to reach the halfway point for some of the Red Hawks seed times. Sean Nugent entering this match with a time of 4:59.11, and Ryan Kappas entering at 4:52.28. I wonder with the lap counters if it's like an assigned thing. Like it's like, do you have a buddy system and you count for the same person every time they race, or is it kind of just like who's available? Like
probably a mix of both. I can imagine there's some close friends on the team, and I gotta imagine they want to help their friends out by showing them what lap they're on. But I'm sure everyone makes sure that everyone has a buddy to let them know.
And I was thinking about this before, in this sort of longer stretch where they're on their way back from the end of the pool back to the starting position, that's kind of a long stretch there, and just the blue tile, everything looks the same color to you. And so it must be a huge relief reaching the lap counter and getting to see like a number telling you like, okay, you're here. And then at the end, seeing that red block stating that you're on your last lap. It must feel like such a relief.
For sure. For sure.
A lot of interesting chants being used to cheer on these athletes. Midland, the freshman. And he's on his way back, kind of neck and neck with lane 3 for TCNJ.
Panzer Pool on their feet.
TCNJ is going to come in first, but Miglin, finding himself in the second place spot, finished with a time of 4:56.18, beating his seed time of 5:01.03. Congratulations to Miglin.
Shaving 5 seconds off his seed time. Really impressive stuff from the freshman. Congratulations to him on what is probably his best swim of the season so far.
And not only did he fare second in this pool of full lanes of competitors, beating out like those upperclassmen. We've talked about it on the call before, like getting to beat up the people who preceded you and who had kind of showed you the ropes of being a part of this team. It must be a huge honor and sort of like a passing the torch kind of moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be special for Lucas and the upperclassmen who, as you said, you know, were not holding his hand, but teaching him the ropes and showing him what it takes to be a an accomplished collegiate swimmer. So we're going to be moving on here to the women's 100-yard butterfly. That'll be fun.
Another one of those fast-paced, shorter races. We get the cool jump off to start. Rourke Peralta in lane 2, Catherine Geyer in lane 4, and Juliette DePasquale in lane 6. All of their sea times are so close together, just off by fractions of a second. They're all at 1:02. Juliette DePasquale leading with 1:02.09. Katie Geyer right behind her with 1:02.32, and Rourke Peralta right behind that with 1:02.45. And here she is, Rourke Peralta. Looks like Rourke Peralta is in the lead, but lanes 4, 5, and 6 are all neck and neck, with 3 shortly behind them.
Lane 5 seems to be pulling ahead a little bit. Pretty close with lane 2. They seem to be the 2 front runners here.
Yeah, it looks like lane 5 in the lead, lane 4 right behind her, and lane 2 right behind that. But Rourke Peralta, lane 2, looks like she's coming ahead. Lane 5 for TCNJ in first. Rourke Peralta in lane 2 for second, finishing with 1:02.73. Little off from her PB. Katie Geyer just a second off with her time too, finishing at 1:03.54.
Impressive effort from all 3 women, doing their best on that one. No one able to crack the PB, but still one of the more difficult swim races by far in this meet. Those short distances are always got to be some of the most difficult ones.
And here we have the men's counter for that event, the men's 100-yard butterfly.
Good news for the women, though. They are currently leading in point totals right now, 147-79. The men still not so much as successful. They're a little further behind, but the women comfortably ahead as they'll look to take the W here today over the TCNJ women's team. Our cameraman getting in on some action.
Insider info.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll pass that information on when we get it.
Rourke Peralta celebrating with her family in front of our booth here. That's been another nice thing about our spot, I feel. We've gotten to watch a lot of little family reunions right after a swimmer's race.
Yeah, very heartwarming to see, the support shown by a swimmer's family coming out and watching them in this meet, dedicating a lot of time. I'm sure some families came from, a couple dozens of miles away.
Lane 3 here in the lead. Lane 4 at a close second with John Englert in lane 4. Tyler Dorsett in lane 2 starting to catch up. as TCNJ closing in on lanes 1 and 4. TCNJ going to place first in lane 3. John Englert placing second in lane 2, finishing at a time of 54.80, just a little off from his seed time. Tyler Dorsett in third, finishing with 55.23, which is literally just fractions of a second away from his seed time, as well as Adrian Gonzalez in lane 6, finishing at 58.15, beating his seed time of 58.57. Congratulations, Adrian Gonzalez. If you guys are just tuning in, we have finished event 26 of 32 in our swim meet of Montclair State versus TCNJ, swimming and diving, dual meet between men's and women's competition.
I think we're getting another diving break here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Charlie and I are going to take a quick break. Thank you for tuning in on the Red Hawk Sports Network. Stay tuned to catch a glimpse at the diving, and we will be back with the last remaining events. Hello and welcome back to the Red Hawk Sports Network. I'm Gianna DeGuinness alongside Charlie Badwini. Thank you for joining us today. The action is back underway as we have the women competing in the 200-yard independent medley race. Juliette DePasquale occupying lane 2 for Montclair State, Katie Geyer occupying lane 4, and Lily Shea in lane 6.
So Gianna, the independent medley race, this is, it's our third trimester, if you want to say, of action here in the meet in between the diving events. And this has got to be one of the more interesting races because it's a combination of all 4 different swimming strokes in one race. So all the swimmers have to change up their style while they're competing, and that's got to be very, very difficult to do as a competitive swimmer.
Absolutely, and we had talked about it much earlier in the day, but these different kinds of strokes really show the utility that these athletes have to offer, and to have them have to be able to switch gears so quickly, utilizing all different muscle groups, all within the same race. You talked about certain strokes being endurance style. We talked about others being power and speed, and this event really just incorporates all those different skill sets into this. Lane 2 currently in the lead, Juliette DePasquale, with a lane 3 TCNJ Lion not too far behind. Actually, Katie Geyer might be in the lead there, making the turnaround first.
Catherine Geyer in first place in lane 4 as she's getting the edge on her fellow competitors.
She's able to finish in 31:98. Where did I just read that? Hold on. She's 2:19:89. The scoreboard said something and then just flipped on me. So Catherine Geyer, 2:19:89, just a little shy of her seed time.
Yeah, all 3 unfortunately unable to crack that personal best time, but still an impressive performance in what was definitely one of the more interesting races so far, as they all displayed each stroke brilliantly and showed that they all have a little training and expertise in all 4 different strokes. And here we are now with it's the men's turn for the medley of all 4 strokes. Same type of energy as that women's race, of course.
But as you can see, the TCNJ men's swim and dive team, I know we weren't on air, but if you had been tuning into the broadcast for the diving portion, the TCNJ Lions over on that far bleacher were really making sure the crowd stayed engaged in the diving competition. They started the wave, and eventually they were able to connect it all around the Panzer Pool, over on the Montclair sideline, and then again having the divers who were even on the boards participate.
Very exciting stuff.
Now with the backstroke, look at how evenly matched this race is. As we start to see a little bit of separation.
No, but you're right, Gianna. All 6 swimmers staying relatively at the same length of the pool. I mean, the biggest difference has to be maybe a yard, if that. Because that's going to do it for that lap. And now we're on to the butterfly. Personally, Gianna, I'm more of a doggy style type swimmer.
Doggy paddle.
Doggy paddle.
Doggy paddling. It does, many people say that it doesn't require a lot of skill, but it takes a lot of endurance to be able to doggy paddle for an extended period of time.
Yeah, I like to chop my arms and legs in the water. That's my preferred style of swimming. Obviously, I'm not as technically sound as these other swimmers. Nowhere near.
Especially lane 3 right now in the lead for TCNJ, but lane 4 not too far behind. TCNJ securing the first and second spots as Montclair State's Brennan Doe finds his way into the third seat, finishing at 2:03, which is just 2 seconds off of his seed time. Lucas Miglin making an appearance again. We saw an incredible performance from him earlier, and Jared Gaynor at 2:12, just off of his seed time as well.
Yeah, and I'll take this cool down period to just go through the names of all of our seniors that we're honoring here on Senior Day at the Panzer Pool. Stephen Bernard, Tyler Dorsett, Christian Milesian, Gianna Antonelli, Aaron Barrett, Emma Bowers, Juliette DePasquale, and Jackie Grayson. Congratulations to all the seniors who were honored earlier today before the meet got underway. And we're shouting them out now here on the broadcast.
And as we had mentioned a little bit earlier, this is one of the last weekend meets for the Montclair State Redhawks, as well as, you know, one of 2 last home meets for the season. And, you know, throughout the day, Charlie has been giving us some facts about last year's Metropolitan competition, and that's going to be approaching soon, where you know, a lot of these timers who have beat their seed times today are going to be able to show that off, as well as NJACs approaching towards the end of the season. Lane 3 breaking ahead, but 2 and 4 are not too far behind.
I believe this is the last style of race we'll be seeing here today, Gianna, the freestyle relay. So this one, the biggest team event of any swim meet is, of course, the freestyle relay, where you have a group of swimmers, you know, tagging in, tagging out, trying to see which team can come up with the best time here. As you see the second set of relay partners getting set, waiting for their teammates to come on back.
Absolutely, and just like a running race, there is strategy that goes into the order of your athletes here. And so we've got 3 strong teams on the dock in the first heat for Montclair State. Lane 2 has Sofia Shapovic, Julia Weinreb, Ava Mafucci, and Juliette DePasquale. Lane 4 has Kate Cipoletti, Abby Brock, Julie T. Edelman, and Juliana Scott-Cardillo. And Lane 6 has Madeline Rogers, Sarah Bent, Gianna Antonelli, and Sydney McGann.
So
Lane 3 is currently in the lead.
It appears that each swimmer does 2 laps back and forth in the pool before the next swimmer tags in. Lane 3 with a comfortable advantage right now.
Really strong performance here by TCNJ. And again, close behind, neck and neck, are teams 2 and 4 for Montclair State. Trying to see if they could close the gap in the last few laps here. Like you said, TCNJ leading comfortably.
And lane 3 is the first to have their final swimmer hop into the pool.
Now, I'm familiar with, you know, in track, your last runner is called the anchor. I wonder, you know, what the terminology is for that in swim. You know, anchor makes sense to me because it's like, you know, water.
Yeah.
But
if track and field is, you know, on the ground,
true,
and it's anchor, then I guess if in swimming, the last one's got to be like break, maybe.
I was like contemplating what you were about to say, and I couldn't figure out what direction it was going in.
Yeah, I can't even tell sometimes.
Montclair State's lanes 2 and 4 able to make that turnaround. Looks like they're going to find themselves in the second and third seats. Lane 2 finished at a time of 3:54.60, and lane 4 finished in second with a time of 3:54.29, which they did not enter this with a previous seat time. So you could think that like that was a new team that was put together, and they haven't competed, the 4 of them, in a relay before, which would be really interesting because they found themselves in a nice spot up there on the leaderboard.
And that'll do it for the women for today's event. They're going to come away with a win, 176-107 over TCNJ. Great win for the women's program, who historically, as we talked about, you know, in the pregame, the broadcast, that they're typically dominated by TCNJ, especially on the women's side, and they got a win today, well-deserved, and a great showing by both sides. A lot of competitiveness and a lot of great competitive, you know, spirit.
Absolutely.
As we get some family hugs in the broadcast booth.
It's a family show. So for the final event of this meet, it is the men's 400-yard freestyle relay, and there are 2 teams competing for Montclair State. In lane 2, there is Stephen Bernard, Matthew Detlinger, Christian Mullison, and John Morris. And in lane 4, it has Spencer Dubois, Anthony Ferraro, Daniel Bartsevich, and John Englert. And lanes 3, 5, and 6 are occupied by TCNJ. Oh, and I believe 1 might be competing in exhibition because they don't have a number lane on the scoreboard. So they might be using this as a qualifying time for another competition later down the road.
And so on the other side of the women's win, the men a little too far behind at this point to cut close. They're going to be losing this to TCNJ, but you know, it's always good to split. Both schools come out with a win on one side or the other. And congratulations once again to both teams on an impressive showing today as we get underway at this last race. Second team getting ready to hop in the pool.
Looks like lane 3 is going to get there first.
As 4 and 5 are jumping in at the same time. Lane 1 a little bit more delayed. But once again, that magic lane 3 pulling ahead early. Looking good doing it.
Absolutely. Lane 4, though, beginning to close in that gap. However, lane 5 seems to be neck and neck. Lane 2 entered this match with no previous seed time, and Lane 4 from Montclair State had entered this with a time of 3:17.65, so we could look out and see if there was any improvement on either end there.
Still got a handful of swimmers to go.
That we're on our second of the race so far. That lane 3 and is going to look to prep their third. Lanes 4 and 5 are super close.
Both teams on their feet for the last race of the afternoon, cheering on their teammates. The energy has not left Panzer Pool since we started at 1 o'clock here today.
Absolutely.
Fans have been showing in and showing out, even though, you know, some people stay in for a little bit longer than others, a little bit less. The energy has stayed the same.
Absolutely. Even though some families had left, some families were done with their events, but you know, there was never an empty seat the entire time we've been here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe the crowd waiting to get in might have died down a bit. And they're going to finish that race. TCNJ solidifying the first spot. Montclair State in second. The lane 4 finding a time of 3:19.27, which is just 2 seconds off of their seed time.
And so that'll do it for a day of swimming here at the Panzer Pool. The Montclair State swimming team women's coming away with the W. Don't have the exact score for you at the moment. It's not up on the scoreboard. Actually, yes, we do. It's 182 to 118 for the women. For the men's, that's one we don't have the score for, but I can assure you they did not win. TCNJ men's gets the win in that department. So, Gianna, what a day.
What a day.
Of swim competition. I feel like I've learned so much from watching this sport, and really just the athletes that hop in the pool for however long they have been today. Just incredible endurance, stamina, and a credit to all those who competed today.
Absolutely, and you know, this was a learning experience for us. Thank you guys for bearing with us through our technical difficulties earlier. But honestly, yeah, like you said, like I had called a swim meet before, but I learned a lot today, and honestly, so much more respect, because I know I can't do what these athletes do.
Ditto.
Especially diving. I was so invested in the diving showcases. I know, like, I was getting nervous for them at times.
Yep.
But it was a really exciting thing to be a part of and watch. Thank you guys for joining us. Congratulations to the men's TCNJ Lions swim team and the Montclair State Redhawks women's swim team. And thank you all for joining us here on the Red Hawk Sports Network. For Charlie Badweedy, I'm Gianna DeGuinness. Have a great rest of your night.